Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of uranium. It is probably my favorite sector at the moment. I have been adding into it in my 401k into the ETF Uranium. I'm cost averaging in. I have cost averaged in. If we get another pullback, and I don't know if we will, I'll keep dipping in with my money that I continue to pile into it, into my 401k that is. And I'll keep piling into it if we stay down here. So I'll go into the charts. I'll give you my financial opinion. It's only my financial opinion. And I'll let you know what I think. So we got the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust behind us. Again, I think this looks really good. I adjusted this to the bottoms here. We are still above this support line, and we have broken out of this downtrend line. I would say it looks very good to potentially move on up. So that still looks really good for the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. URNM, we're still bouncing around down here. And we got a little bit of a bearish bearish piercing pattern, which we could head a little bit lower. I put a little bit of some marks in here. I'm going to kind of go over it real quick. I've got the Elliott wave theory in here. I'm not an Elliott wave expert. I'm not pretending to be, but just for what I can tell is I'm looking at the big overall picture of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC correction. And we've gone, I am considering this to be number 1. Number 2 is this pullback. Number 3 is this move higher. Number 4 is this pullback. We go to number 5, which is kind of the top here. Then we do an A, B, C correction. I think the correction is getting close to being done. Usually you've got this kind of zigzagging way down. Difficult to say in this mess of things what that looks like. Is this kind of a, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the end of the correction here? Or do we still have another one to go? Sometimes they kind of do this lead in. I don't want to profess to say, I don't want to say like I'm an expert on Elliott wave because I'm not, but it looks like we're almost done with this correction and that we could potentially be moving on up soon. We could still have one last little move lower, which is like kind of the final flush out. But I don't, a move kind of that goes like that or something. A move that kind of flushes everyone out down here, and then we rocket on up. Or we go sideways, we kind of do a move, not that I have drawn in there, or we kind of just bounce a little bit here and then go up. What I'm looking for that direction or that thing are small little down days next to this. If we get a change of pattern, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this side over here, and what I'm looking for is this right here. The bullish engulfing, the big move up, small down days, big move up, and then the small leak off a seller. See how these down days are really small? And then we get like a bullish piercing, bullish engulfing, and then we rocket higher. I'm looking for that type of pattern. If we go on this side over here, we still have these big down days here. It's changing a little bit. We're starting to get more equal. We put in a bearish piercing, a small one, which means we could head down just a little bit. And I'm going to look to see what these next candlesticks are coming up. If they're small little down days inside of these here, it means that we're transitioning from a selling, like basically the sellers being in control to the buyers being in control. So what I want to see are little like down days that just come down like this. And it's hard to draw with this little tool. And then I want to see like a big fat bullish engulfing that engulfs this day before it, and then a move higher. That's what I want to see. And I'll leave that in there for tomorrow, see what it does. This is Bannerman, BNNLF. Bannerman is a company that I overweighted in the beginning when it was down in 2020. And it's one of my favorite companies for a more speculative play. This exhibits that kind of correction that we were looking for with an A, B, C correction. Are we at the end of the correction? I wish I knew, guys. We are at support. I would be a buyer in Bannerman. That's me. Again, that's just my opinion. We're at this long-term support line. I'm hoping this support line can hold and we rocket higher soon. That's the hope. But you know, the possibility of a further pullback where we dip a little bit more down and scare people, that possibility is still there. I'm not going to be scared. What I like about this, we're on a weekly candlestick basis. We have the big buying pressure coming on up, and then the slow kind of leak off of sellers. This is a bullish engulf or bullish piercing there. I thought we were going to roll here, but we had a little bit more downward movement. So I think it still looks really good. Goviax, I had my drawing. Let's see what I put for a drawing. Goviax is GVXXF. This is a African company. So we got a little bit of a down day. It's kind of almost a dark cloud cover. We're probably going to head down maybe a little bit. Highly depends on what the physical price of uranium does, but pullback, looks like we're starting to move sideways, and then I think we'll move on up. Global Atomic, GLATF, we've broken out of the downtrend line, had a little bit of a pullback. It's a small little day. I still think this looks excellent for a move higher. Could it still move a little bit lower to do a retest? It very well could, but in this area is a good spot, I think, to maybe accumulate a little bit of shares. Force is getting a little bit more selling pressure. We're at this resistance line right here. We'll see if this thing pulls back or if we can get some buying pressure and support under here. But it is a pretty strong down day with good, strong selling pressure ending strong to the downside. Pure Point Uranium, a lot of volatility going on because this Pure Point's been big up day, big down day, and then now another kind of larger up day. It's almost like we're creating a kind of a pattern here, something like this, where we're going to basically squeeze up and go somewhere. Deep yellow. Here's the kind of the big hammer candlestick pattern. We're coming on up. We had a nice good up day today, 3.24 or 3.26%. It looks like it opened here and came down a little bit. That's why it's red. I'm hoping this can get a little bit of traction here. Paladin, PALAF, a little bit of a down day today. Sometimes we call this a little bit of a bloody nose. This is I don't like how we opened here and then it came throughout the day down. Momentum is heading downward on it, but it looks like we're trying to put in a little bottom here. Sky Harbor, SYHBF. Hammer candlestick, bullish engulfing, bullish piercing. To me, this looks pretty good for a move that could potentially head higher. Yep. NXE, which is Next Gen Energy. God, we're getting these like mixed signals, guys. I don't like seeing all these mixed signals. This is a bearish engulfing, but it could be just on the short term where we head a little bit lower on a couple of small down days and then reverse it to go on up. That's what I'm hoping. Looking at CVVUF, Canalaska. It's a Canadian exploration company doing some exploring up in Canada. Hopefully it loads CVVUF. Bullish hammer candlestick pattern, a little bit of a down day today. We're right at support. This thing's bouncing all over the place. I mean, the possibility there is, we'll see if this support holds. Kind of a big down day from, for where we're at. And Baseload's got a larger down day too. It almost makes me think that we may head a little bit lower like I've drawn in there and then eventually move on up. We got to find support down here where these candlestick wicks are. And I think it will. Just give it some time. Fission 3.0, we're just chopping sideways. Hopefully we can find support here and then move on up. Let me look at this thing from a longer term perspective. This is FISOF. If you guys want to know, oh, it's a retest. I would buy it down here. Yeah, looks good. I'm a long-term investor, guys, so I'm not the short-term trying to time stuff. Even though I do try to time things as best I can. Now, we could see a bigger pullback here, guys. So what I see here, and I'll zoom out. This is a ascending wedge pattern. or a rising wedge pattern. It's squeezing up some. We've broken to the downside here, and we've come to do a retest, and this is a bearish engulfing pattern. Unfortunately, we're probably going to head lower. That's Fission, FCUUF. Camco, CCJ. This is a favorite. This is a bearish engulfing pattern, or bearish piercing, I mean. Probably going to head a little bit lower. I'm looking to see what the next candlesticks are. What I don't like seeing is a resistance line, or support line, which turned into resistance. We broke it to the downside, and we came up doing almost like a retest, and then a potential break lower if this bearish piercing happens. I'd like to see the buyers come in and push it above, but we could be heading lower. This is Kazatomprom. Big, large down day, and we haven't had the buyers step in any sort of large amount. We're right at support resistance. I'd like to see where this goes. My inclination here is a little bit lower before heading higher. Peninsula Energy, kind of a large sell-off day today. It's been trading back and forth, and we're right at the long-term support line. Boss Energy, just moving sideways. We're right at this. It's got a lot of support underneath it, where the blue line is here. A lot of support. Lotus Resources. Again, guys, you got to be careful here, because this is a support resistance line. We could come up, hit it, and then try to go lower. But again, I'm not trading in and out. I'm just holding on. The valuations are too good for me to be trading in and out. Come on, you, Roy. Come on. So we've got support, which now turns into resistance. We came back up. That resistance, this is a bullish engulfing reversal candlestick. So we're going to try to move up. We came on up. This is a bearish engulfing pattern. This usually heads lower in the short term. We'll see how much lower. We'll see what it does. But this is a pretty big bullish engulfing, and it ended quite strong. So we could see a little bit more downside, unfortunately. This guy's been a battle. It's been back and forth. Is what I think we'll get a little bit more downside. We'll see if this area holds down there where the line is. This is all short term, guys. Not talking anything long term. This is a bearish piercing, which usually resolves itself to the downside. This is UU Energy Fuels. We do have a bearish engulfing there. So we kind of came down. We got our shot coming up. I think we're gonna probably move sideways quite violently, perhaps. So if I were to take a guess, I think we're going to do something like this. Sideways. UR Energy, a little bit of a down day. It's kind of flat. A little bit of resistance up in this area there. UEC, this is a bearish piercing pattern. Usually it was probably going to go down before heading up. Oh, wow, I even drew that in before. I drew it down and then up. Way to go, Andy. Centrus Energy, LEU. Just sideways, not too much to say there. It is a small bearish engulfing, but it's so small, sometimes they don't really matter when they throw that. LTBR, Lightbridge. The reason I'm interested in Lightbridge is the ability. I think there's a lot of short sellers in this thing. It does have a bearish engulfing. I think it's going to head lower like this. Hopefully something on the lines of that. This is a bullish engulfing too. This is a big bullish engulfing. So we're throwing these. The buyers and sellers are just smacking each other in the face over here. They're like, they've drank too much, guys, and they're just slapping each other back and forth. That's what's going on in a lot of these stocks. Hopefully we can find a bottom and it just chops sideways. ISO Energy, we still have a lot of selling pressure here. We do have this big kind of bullish piercing hammer pattern. Again, they're just slapping each other back and forth. Their faces are getting so red. Seriously. Appia, little down day today. Not much to really say there. DNN, I know a lot of people like DNN, Denison Mines. Another bearish engulfing. I don't like seeing these bearish engulfings. But I think we're probably going to do more slapping to the face. This is a bullish engulfing here with a hammer pattern. That's what the wick is on the bottom. Then it throws a bearish engulfing pattern. Then it throws a bullish piercing pattern. Then it throws a bearish engulfing. It's just, doesn't know which way to go. Here's a bearish engulfing there. So usually what happens is you get these ones where you get a bearish engulfing, it goes to the next candlestick, and then it just starts reversing back and forth. It's all this reversal. So Denison Mines is just getting slapped all around on the short term. All of them are. Even with Blue Sky Uranium, it's like you're just going back and forth like this. I mean, it's just zigzagging back and forth, and that's usually a consolidation pattern. So we're consolidating here. They're all doing it. Same with this Forum Energy Metals consolidating. We had an update today. I'd like to see it end stronger, but it doesn't look horrible. Obviously, better than some more sideways action for Anfield. Not really much to say there. Looking at Laramide, we have a bearish engulfing today. Come on, man. Come on, Larry. I guess Laramide's going to be Larry just because I came up with it. But you can kind of see this move, and I think we're going to kind of head lower before moving up. Something on the lines of that. Western Uranium, I do think we're going to head lower. We put in a bearish engulfing today, definitely to the downside. UEX, I like how we're getting smaller down days. That's good. Hopefully they can remain small, or we get like a kind of a big bullish engulfing pattern here. We move on up. That's what I'm looking for. This is a bullish piercing here. We came into a double bottom. We popped higher, and now I'm just waiting for buyers. I'm looking for buyers to step in to push it higher. And then Mega Uranium, I know this one was looking really good from last session. It probably threw a bearish engulf. Yeah, come on. Bearish piercing here. So there's a lot of sellers up here. Because every time we get up here, bearish piercing. There's some kind of larger bearish days here. This is a bearish engulfing. So we come up here, we run into sellers. Come up here, run into sellers. Sells off. We regroup. Put in a fat bullish engulfing here. Put another bullish engulfing here. And then we come up into more selling pressure. There's sellers up here. Anything above this line, there's sellers. Or I should say, anything above this white line here, you get some selling action up there. It's got really strong resistance. So we're trying. It's just hitting some sellers still. These sellers will tire out at some point, and then we'll get through it and break to the upside is my guess. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit on how I read charts. That's kind of what I see. It's a mixed bag. I mean, we could head lower for a little bit in the short term. We'll see what the candlesticks do in the selling pressure. If the selling pressure, if we reverse and there's no sellers, that's good. We want to see the buyer step in and lay some fat candlesticks that do engulfings or piercings. It's been a battle back and forth right here. Sellers just smacking the buyers in the face. They're like, there you go. And then the buyers come in and then backhand them back. The sellers right now have had a little bit stronger hand because the momentum's been coming down. So I'm looking and waiting for the buyers to give me signals to say, look, this is moving on up. And it's a for sure bottom. I think we're trying to do that. I think we're trying to put in a bottom here. The sellers are still there though. So don't be afraid if some sellers smack us around a little bit. It's okay. I don't think they're going to get us too far down. And if they do push it down to a new kind of like a little bit lower low, don't be scared out. That's kind of my opinion. I just hold on. And I would be a buyer. I would not be a seller. We've got excellent ratios, uranium to gold ratio. It's very cheap. We are in a commodity bull market. Commodities continue to surge higher. We have problems in the energy sector, which is oil and natural gas. So those problems, I think, will manifest in higher uranium prices because uranium is an alternative to natural gas. It's an alternative to renewables. And if we have problems with renewables in the future, I think nuclear is an excellent choice for solving an energy crisis problem. If you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.